going on, Matt?
What up, James?
How you doing today?
Doing excellent. Beautiful day out.
Beautiful day indeed. We got some birds chirping in the background.
Again.
We got blue skies.
Sun was out all day. Nice breeze by me, at least.
Risk of thunderstorms, but they said nah.
Nah, I mean, I don't know. I think you're the only one that's seen that. You mentioned it. We're all looking at our phones, and
So
it's showing like 10% or less at like 3, 4 a.m.
We got my kids' baseball game tonight. Just had it, and it was like, hey, I text my wife. I'm like, hey, there's a chance of thunderstorms tonight. Good luck, and texting you, no, nothing. No, you saw nothing in your apps. He saw nothing anywhere. I'm
Right.
like, well, what am I looking at?
Right. We're sitting there all like, I mean, you look in the sky and, it didn't look like, it didn't really look like rain. Little clouds, maybe.
So you have to at least admit it was overcast for a good half hour.
Yeah. The sun kind of went away, but it's still really nice. Last week, which is funny because last week he had his first game,
Right.
and we're in jackets because it was in the 40s and breeze, and it was real breezy.
It was winter and spring. It was very
Welcome to Wisconsin.
Yep. So
We are
Shade Tree Chefs.
All right.
Yeah, welcome. Glad to have you guys here. Today, Matt and I, we have some beers, some brewskis. We're drinking Milwaukee IPA, brought to you by Milwaukee Brewing Company,
MKE Brewing,
which they were just purchased out
Yes.
again, right?
Well, I think
By
only
Eagle
once.
by Eagle Park Brewing. Company.
I didn't see. I know they were for sale, and that's one of the couple of brewery tours I've done, and that was a good time. I did that some years ago.
Was
so
it?
I heard they were. I mean, like Louis Demise,
Delicious.
phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal beer. So at first I was really disappointed to see they were up for sale and everything, but they're still being produced,
Not a problem.
still keeping the name.
They kept
all that
their
fun stuff.
Yeah, they kept all their main hits, their Louis Demise. There's stuff we're drinking now.
Unlike
It's not too bad.
Unlike Sprecher, one of my favorites, which now is almost shifting away from beer, going to craft sodas.
Oh yeah, almost entirely.
They brought back Black Bear,
Okay.
and I know they bought some other stuff. It's like, no, do more beer. That's why
Right.
you started. But and then what's funny with that one is they had a group of people who worked for like Miller Coors at the headquarters or whatnot, and it's like, oh, okay, we got beer guys coming in.
Right.
What do they want to do? Soda.
Hey man, let's do soda. Hey,
Let's do soda.
honestly, it's whatever sells. I guess.
I mean, and their root beer is phenomenal. Probably the best I've had.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I prefer the beer from them
Yeah.
that they're doing less and less of.
Agree. That's sad. Anyways, today's episode is Matt. Go ahead. This is.
Oh yeah, we
this
did.
one's all you, man.
We had Memorial Day, and last week I told you I didn't know what I wanted to do, and more I was thinking about it. Some of the staples that we have talked about: pulled pork, ribs. I did do ribs. Nothing really worth talking about. So really, the other thing I decided to do was chicken wings, and I know we did an episode on chicken wings. But really, the emphasis wasn't, if those of you recall, the last time we talked about wings, we did almost a cook-off. I went like low and slow. You went that high heat vortex, and it was about the cooking of wings and how they turned out.
Right.
Where this is completely opposite. It's about sauces, rubs, and unfortunately, we were talking right before. I did make a rub for the chicken wings, and by itself was phenomenal. I left 0 wings
For people to try.
to try without sauce on it. I sauced them all up,
Right.
and so by itself it was really good. And you'll just have to take my word for it because I don't remember if I was like, "Hey, you got to try this,"
Well,
and if you
Do you have
did
any
or
rub
not.
left?
I think we threw it away. No,
You
I
threw it away.
might.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was really good.
And you said, nah, I'm just gonna throw it away.
Well, I don't eat chicken all that often.
Pork,
Well, I suppose it might work on pork.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it was tasty. So I guess I could kind of talk about that.
The what?
This would be the wing rub.
The wing rub. Yeah. Talk about.
Like
it.
I said, it got
what did you-
lost.
What did you put in the rub?
So this is right off the bat. It starts off a little bit different than our typical rub because it actually called for and I think I doubled it because I ended up cooking like 80 wings or whatever. So it called for I'm just going to double it just to make it easier. 1 tablespoon of ancho chili pepper.
Ancho chilies.
Ancho chili pepper.
Okay.
Which
Was that hard to find?
No, I found it, and I almost forgot about it. But they kind of have the Mexican area in Pick and Save. So I went over there, and it was like Goya or whatnot. It came, actually, I get in a little bag almost.
Sure.
Almost like you think candies or whatnot.
Oh, yeah, like a plastic.
Like a plastic
bag with like maybe a paper wrapper.
Yeah, at the top,
Seal
telling you
or
what
whatever.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, it doesn't really tell you. I mean, I could eyeball it. So I bought 2. So I probably had half of the one I opened left. And I'll tell you what, it's actually a really nice chili. I'd like to work with that more often because I don't think you really get the heat from it, but there's a little sweetness to it. It's a different flavor profile than what we're typically used to using in a rub.
Sure.
A tablespoon of that, tablespoon of smoked paprika, tablespoon of onion powder, a tablespoon of kosher salt. I don't know how to do this. 1.5 tablespoons of light brown sugar packed. 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder. 1.5 teaspoon of paprika. They called for paprika again. Smoked paprika and regular paprika. I don't have any smoked paprika. I just ignored that.
Yeah.
1.5 teaspoon of cumin. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. A teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I went a little light on it, knowing we'd have a lot of people that don't enjoy heat trying these. Teaspoon of dry mustard powder. Black pepper. Some oregano. Half teaspoon of oregano, and a little bit of salt. And now it's not pulling up. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I think I messed up some of my conversion on some of it.
Sure.
Because, like I said, I at least doubled it. I might have went 4 times just so I had enough of it. Because it's really doesn't call for all that much. I think it's to do like a pound of wings. Well, I mean, I'd bought, and I didn't cook them all, but I had like 15 pounds of wings.
So you still have some?
I still have. I have like a bag and a half of it.
It's for these frozen ones?
Yeah, the frozen ones, because I like the size. Like if it, and it's for more of a personal taste, because I don't like chicken all that much, but I can eat wings because they're small enough and you can get them in 1 or 2 bites, and you have that sauce or that rub on it. So I don't really. It kind of masks the icky chicken taste.
The icky chicken taste.
Icky chicken taste.
Yuckies.
Yucky. So, and not only that, I mean, it kind of came down to cost at the same point, because I went over and found like the fresh ones, and you were talking, those were, I don't know, like $12 for a pound and a half.
Yeah.
Or what was it, 2.5 pounds for like $8.
It's way cheaper.
Yeah, I'm
for
like,
the
I
frozen
don't
bag.
care about the people coming to my party that much to pay $12.
They'll never know.
They'll never know.
We'll never know.
So I mean, they were
until
frozen.
now.
And hopefully, good news is most of them don't listen to the podcast,
Right.
So,
So
they'll never even know.
No. Perfect.
I mean, you were there, your family was there. I mean, but they don't listen to it. So really, it's just me and you.
You know, I do chicken wings probably twice a month in the summertime.
Yeah.
Maybe even 3 times a month, and I've always done fresh. And I don't know why I've never actually looked or considered a frozen bag of chicken wings.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would generally go for the fresh, non-frozen. But let's face it, the odds of it not being previously frozen,
so they were all,
unless it's a local place.
Were they all separated too, like flats and drums?
No, it was just a mixed bag. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was all. Sorry, let me phrase it. They were all in a bag. Like you didn't have to separate them. They were all separated.
Well,
flats, drums.
Well, yeah. They were pre-cut. Yes.
Pre-cut.
Okay. And some of them were ugly. There were some that I just threw away because it's like, why would you even package this? This is a throwaway piece. A little bit ugly. So yeah, you wouldn't, do a competition with them, but for people you mildly like, cook them all day.
For parties.
Parties
people you don't care about.
And I did actually run into it because I bought it a few days early, kept them in the fridge, checked them a few hours before, and some of it was still a little bit frozen. So I just filled the sink up with some cold water and placed the bags in there unopened, kind of thaw them out the rest of the way.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Worked out fine. So that was the thing. Although I would say you should try that rub. I'll take a look, as I might have told her, because I had bought in a couple of like shakers. So this way I'm not just keep putting my dirty hands in the bowl of the
mix.
seasoning.
Right.
I bought a couple of shakers. I could just shake the seasoning on.
That's the
turn
way to
them.
do it, yeah.
So I may still have it in a like Tupperware container.
Okay.
But it's worth. I would say I would eat wings again, like the ones I have left over, and I would just try that rub.
Dry rub by himself.
Just a dry rub, and then maybe sauce on the side if I want, like a ranch or
Like a
blue
dipping
cheese,
sauce,
a dipping sauce, yeah. Which I also made.
Yeah, usually when I do wings for the wife and I, it's like the mild wings because wife can't handle spicy, so we do
Right.
the mild buffalo stuff. And
and at
it's
times, like
delicious. but
sometimes I don't mind heat, but it's like how much.
Other times you just want flavor.
Right, like that's just like we'll do jalapeno poppers, right? Jalapeno, cut it in half, cream cheese, whatever, bacon, shredded cheese, and then wrap it with bacon and grill it. And it's like, you get 4 of them, and it's like everyone eats about one full pepper, and it's like, all right, these ones ended up being a little hotter than we thought.
Right.
So then you waste them. So I think that's the same kind of thought process when eating. Like, okay, I could have a wing or two that has some heat to it, but
You
it's
get
like
to a certain point where you're not trying to do a competition. You're not at a, you're not going to win a T-shirt out of this.
my gut doesn't enjoy that as much as maybe it once did.
Your gut or the other end, right? Exactly.
Well, right. I mean, it does have taste buds.
It does.
It does. So, so yeah, that was the rub. I want to say I seasoned them probably 20 minutes, half hour early.
I think, Matt, at the very least, you want to season your chicken. Even if you are going to coat them in anything, you're still going to get that flavor coming through the sauce, no matter if you coat it in like a barbecue sauce or anything like that, because it does kind of come through and it does stick with the meat once you tear through that and you get to the inside of the meat.
Right. It just kind of got lost because, like, hey, what did this really taste like? Mm-hmm. So doing it again, I would try it just by. I would have left a couple.
I would say you did have a fair amount to drink that day. But
I mean, we both did.
it was a good day.
It was a good day. We had fun.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Okay, so you had a seasoned or a seasoning.
We did the seasoning.
What else did you have?
All right, so I'm like, well, we got to have some sauces.
Sauce is the boss.
So, favorite of the missus, garlic parmesan. Garlic parmesan sauce.
Parmesan?
Yeah.
Garpar?
And I want to say this straight out. Everything I'm telling you that I made was simple. I mean, other than getting the ingredients, there was, maybe you had to heat something up, melt some butter.
Sure.
And actually, I've tried making a garlic parmesan sauce prior, some years ago. And where I messed up is I had it hot, and then I put the real parmesan in, and then it all melted, became a glob, and it was garbage. So, and I want to say that recipe at that point, it actually called for the cheap stuff you buy in the dry aisle.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Kraft or whatever.
Right.
No offense to it, but,
Right.
shelf life of like 20 years. Not
20.
real Parmesan.
Right. If it can sit out on a countertop
Yeah.
for 20 years.
So that just called for a half cup of butter melted. So I warmed it up on the stovetop, got it to melt, turned it off. All right.
Okay.
A half cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of onion salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. So there again, I want to make sure it's not too hot. I'm actually testing the temperature, putting a little bit on a spoon because I'm not going to put my digits in
Right.
in it.
You want to do a little bit at a time.
And just make sure this wasn't scalding hot. Last thing I want to do is melt this cheese
Right.
and have a repeat of what I had some years ago.
Right.
I did have enough butter and the cheap Parmesan cheese where I could have made it again. I made this stuff in advance, which actually became a problem for this.
Really?
Yeah, so boom, get it in, mix it up. All right, good. I put it in a container, put it in the fridge. Because I want to say I'm making this. I got the fire going for the ribs, all that. Probably about 9 o'clock. Once that kind of got on, that's when I started making all the sauces. So it was probably made by 10 a.m. And the party wasn't until 2. We ate at what, 4:30? 4:30. So of course, what does butter do when you put it in the fridge?
Yeah, it's real hard.
Yeah, it sits there and gets solid again.
Right.
So how I did that is then I forgot the technical term, but if you've made a what's that sauce? Eggs Benedict sauce. I'm drawing blanks here,
I
man.
don't know, man. Secret sauce. I don't know.
No, wow.
Hold on, you keep talking. You distract. the
Yeah,
audience.
I don't know why I'm blanking out on the name of the sauce. So I took a pot, filled it with water, found a metal bowl, put it on the stove, got the heat. Hollandaise sauce. That's
Yeah.
it. So a hollandaise sauce, you use kind of the same thing or a blender method. But if you're doing it more traditional, so then the metal bowl kind of let the heat up, and I'm kind of steaming that bowl to get warm. I poured it in there, and I was just mixing it just to get it to be liquid again, but not too hot. If I put it in the pan by itself, put it on the heat, I was gonna destroy that cheese.
Yeah.
So just kind of got it loose enough. It wasn't perfect, but I still had plenty of time. I think I had probably about 45 minutes. I'm like, it's still warm out. I just put it out in the sun. To be honest with you, it was covered.
Let nature.
It was
work.
covered.
Yeah.
You know, it just softened up the rest, and it worked.
It was a nice day.
It was a beautiful day. So that was it for that one.
And that one to review was which one again?
I'm sorry?
That flavor, that sauce. That was what again?
That was the garlic parmesan.
The garpar.
Yes.
Okay. What's next?
The next, just because this is how I took pictures of all this, I did a side, right? I did a homemade blue cheese,
Okay.
right? People use ranch. They use side dipping sauce. They
Smaller
use
amount
blue
of people
cheese.
use blue cheese for sure.
Yeah,
But it
I
is-
think I might have been the only one that touched it.
You could see like your dipping mark.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man.
There again, it was pretty easy. It called for 2.5 ounces of blue cheese, 3 tablespoons of buttermilk, 3 tablespoons of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, and a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. I'm sorry, and an 1/8 teaspoon of garlic powder and some salt and pepper to taste.
Okay.
So I bought some blue cheese that was already crumbled up. Now I doubled it, which I didn't need to. I could have quartered it and still had more than plenty.
Sure.
So I bought the crumbled stuff already.
And that's the stuff that's like in a round circular tub.
Round circular tub. Came at 5 ounces. Boom, beautiful.
Okay.
I don't have to measure anything out. you know?
Yeah.
But it tells you kind of mush it. Add the buttermilk, kind of mush it together so it becomes, I forgot the consistency they compared it to. I'm just drawing blanks today. Anyways, like
okay.
a cottage cheese. Like a cottage cheese.
Okay.
All right. Then put everything else in, mix it up. Boom, there it is.
Okay.
Put it in a container. Put it in the fridge.
And was it ready? Did it taste good?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I don't remember.
You don't
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I apologize. I think I was kind of like going in and out between yard games. And It
Yeah.
was like dinner time. I'm like, okay.
Right, I know. And it's like you sat down and I'm like, he didn't even grab this. He didn't
Yeah.
grab that. I'm like, man, you know.
So I'm like, this is
Like
like,
that's like, is that why we didn't talk about the garlic parmesan?
I'm like,
Do
yeah,
you remember that?
yeah, it was really good, man.
Yeah, so he doesn't remember
so
it.
good. So
I grabbed a little bit of each. Like I brought all the food in. And
I grabbed a couple.
I grabbed one of each just so I could taste it and get an idea of it. I tell you what, it was up there with any wing place.
Okay, so save the recipe.
Yeah, I thought it was a good recipe.
How much
It's
work
one-
was it and price wise was it?
I mean, biggest thing would probably be the Parmesan cheese. Other than that, it really didn't call for, half cup of butter. Like I said, I doubled it. So, real Parmesan cheese isn't going to be cheap.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're going to do it, maybe plan something, spaghetti or something.
Sure.
That you're going to use fresh Parmesan cheese on.
Use it multiple times.
Right. Other than that, I mean, it was butter and stuff that most people just have sitting around.
Sure.
So I thought it tasted really good. A good recipe. I'd use it again.
What else you got?
All right. The ranch dressing.
Ranch.
Ranch.
That was like a buttermilk or
No.
I don't even know what other styles are.
Yeah, I don't either, man. You
non-
just normally
buttermilk?
go and you have like the Hidden Valley
Hidden
Ranch,
Valley
or
Ranch, yeah.
you have the other
Sometimes
store-bought ranch.
Sometimes you feel a little spicy and you're like, this one's got a cool label, and you're like, and it's top shelf,
Right.
fancy.
It's like, look at this, man. We're eating this good stuff.
Yeah, this valley's not hidden.
Right.
We're gonna get this stuff.
So it was, there again, it was, well, actually, you know what? You mentioned that because I didn't think anything of that because it actually had stated you can use buttermilk in place of sour cream if you like. And I actually had plenty of buttercream, but I didn't.
You didn't.
I used the sour cream.
So it's not a buttermilk.
No.
Because like a buttermilk is more thick, right? It's more.
Yeah, I would think so. It would be.
Yeah.
Because, sour cream is pretty light.
It is light. What technically it's thicker out of the package, but
Yeah. So there again, this is pretty easy. So it called for a cup of mayonnaise, a half cup of sour cream. These I did buy. The next three, a half teaspoon of dried chives. So they actually have. Now this was probably the most expensive piece of it, where it's almost like freeze dried, and it's probably $6 per. But it's like I don't want, we're trying to make a nice sauce here.
yeah.
So the dried chives, the dried parsley, and dried dill weed, a half teaspoon of each.
And a lot of this stuff as we're cooking, a lot of this stuff like dill weed and things like that are called for in other recipes. So you kind of build up your cabinet as you go along.
Right. The only difference is now I had all this. Other than maybe the dill weed, I'd have to look deep to see if I had dill weed.
There's not a lot of recipes that call for that, but
so now I have the dried dill weed. So I think presentation-wise or whatnot, better than some ground-up stuff, right? Like
Right.
ranch, if it would just been all hidden,
hidden ranch.
right? It would just it would have just all kind of dissipated. Where here are those chives; those were still the little piece of whole chives, cut up chives, and same with the parsley. Other than that, was a quarter teaspoon of garlic powder, a quarter teaspoon of onion powder, an eighth teaspoon of salt, and an eighth teaspoon of ground black pepper. Easy. And it really was. I mean, you put it, they said you could, probably make it about 2 hours in advance, but just like a good chili, stuff like that, they're saying that the flavors will meld through time. So doing it a couple days in advance, not a bad idea.
Right.
And you got to think about it. I mean, sour cream is generally good for a couple weeks, right? So I would think that would have a shelf life the same as that sour cream, because mayonnaise is good. I mean, you open that up.
it's good for like weeks.
Mayonnaise is good for like years.
Well, once it's opened.
Well, yeah, you put it in the fridge. There's still the use-by date.
Years?
Well, maybe not years, but generally you got 8 months or so.
Okay. Let's test it out.
I mean, I don't use mayonnaise terribly often, so I mean, I probably have some.
Now you got me thinking like
It's probably
Wait.
you've probably eaten
some bad mayonnaise.
some expired mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I mean, honestly, we go through mayonnaise for like sandwiches,
Yeah.
or you use it for quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So
And we really don't. And there's been times that after the fact of making something, there has been something in my refrigerator that
you start feeling the gurgles.
no, actually not though. It's it's like I look at it like after I use it, I'm like, well, it didn't give a little taste. If it's like, it doesn't smell bad, doesn't
Yeah.
taste bad.
I mean, a lot of times with like dairy products, you can kind of open the lid up and be like,
yeah,
smell it, and you're like, it's fine.
Right.
Milk says Best Buy like 2 days ago. You're like, open the lid up.
well, and there's other times
That's fine.
where a couple days prior it doesn't smell good.
True.
So that's
True.
a hit and miss. In
Really,
ways.
I mean, Toucan Sam had it right. Follow your nose.
Yeah.
But okay.
So yeah, I thought that turned out really well. It tasted just like ranch. Ranch dressing. Can I put it above like the store brand stuff? Maybe not. But I didn't
mean-
have them to compare to each other.
I mean, store brand, you can just go to the store. You can just buy the bottle, and it's pretty good.
I suppose.
Unless you're trying to impress people.
Right, and I guess I was.
If you're holding like a fancy dinner party, it'd be like, make your own stuff.
Right. I mean,
But-
I guess preservatives maybe.
True. If you're trying to live like a cleaner
Life.
lifestyle.
I mean, you could make your own mayonnaise. The sour cream maybe a buy. Or I suppose you could make it yourself. I don't like sour cream, so I couldn't tell you how it's made.
And there's a lot of people who are doing that nowadays. They're living cleaner, like they're looking at ingredients, and they find it's a lot easier just to buy the stuff and make it yourself.
Well, as we're talking the shelf life, I mean, you buy that ranch dressing, whatever brand, and look at the ingredients list.
Why do you
think it
last
lasts?
so long?
Right.
Why are you like this?
Right.
Yeah.
As you're using it on your wings, in that ranch you bought 3 years ago.
Yeah.
4 wings, and you're still working on that bottle because you don't see where the expiration date
Use
is.
it every day, and you're like, why am I getting so fat, or why do I have
Yeah.
cancer, whatever.
Why can't I get off the toilet?
Why can't I get off the toilet? You're like,
It's only when I eat wings. I think I'm allergic to wings.
I can't do wings anymore. Nope, not doing that.
It's that ranch sauce that's
that
been in your
ranch.
fridge
Right.
for 3 years.
Well, it's all those preservatives. Well, this isn't a clean living show. But,
I mean, we can still do our we can still be mindful of
but it
things.
makes you think about. Yeah, it makes you think like
how well and fresher.
fresh is best.
Fresh is best.
Yep.
And I said, why not? If we've already done ribs. We want to be completely dry and like, hey, we did this again. Let's do sauces. So I made every sauce that we used.
Yeah, touche.
The next sauce I thought would go well was a honey garlic.
And I love honey garlic. Like you go to like, not just like Buffalo Wild Wings, which is kind of trash nowadays. No offense, but I mean, you go to these wing places, and honey garlic is always my go-to.
Yeah.
For a milder sauce.
Right, and then but like talking about like Buffalo Wild Wings, they have like they have one that's spicier. Say like Korean.
Oh, they have like Korean. They also what's that one? I can't think of it.
But there's one. It's like I like it. There's a little tang to it.
Yeah,
but
this like the jerk, the Jamaican jerk.
It wasn't
What are you
Jamaican jerk.
thinking?
It was pretty much like a honey garlic, but it was a little more on the spicy side.
It made you cry.
It didn't make me cry.
Oh, you cried.
Okay, I cried.
Yeah, you cried.
I'm about to cry again.
Thinking about it. Or
Thinking
what?
about it, right?
And because I'm making fun of you, or what?
Right. I mean,
Cry,
why
baby,
you
cry, baby.
So there again, a very, very easy recipe. Called for a half cup of honey, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce,
Soy.
1 tablespoon of fresh grated ginger,
Ooh.
1 tablespoon of fresh minced garlic, a half teaspoon of garlic powder. Or I'm sorry, not garlic. I already said the garlic. That'd be kind of weird to have fresh garlic and minced
garlic.
Yeah, chili powder, optional.
What else is ground garlic?
Right.
Garlic
Yeah,
powder.
the garlic. Well, no, you have
Garlic salt.
garlic. No, garlic powder. There it is.
That's what,
Yeah. And fresh chopped cilantro for garnish if you want. I did not.
Are you hearing that bird, by the way?
Yeah.
That bird's trying to be on the podcast.
Yep. He's famous now. So this one had you heat it up.
Sorry. ADD.
Kind of heat it up and reduce it by about half. It really didn't. But I also was like, I'm probably going to have to heat this back up because I'm doing it early. And I want it to be warm. So I'm probably, make sure it's nice and loose. I enjoy it. I was kind of curious at first, given the fresh ginger in it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's ginger. Ginger's strong.
It is. That's why most recipes don't call for too much of it.
Right. Did you remember this sauce at all?
No.
Man,
I'm just
you don't
here.
re- you
I'm
don't-
just here. I'm just here for the...
All right. So as much as Jamie wanted to say some stuff about my about how I was that day,
Well, I deflect. You know what I mean? Like I make fun of you first, so that way
right when it comes back, it seems normal. Like, man,
Right.
Matt, he was just sloshed all day. It's like, hey, remember this? Yeah, I was playing a lot of games. Yeah,
playing a lot of yard
yeah,
games.
the game of make the beer disappear.
I win.
I really enjoyed this one.
No, did you have fun playing Can Jam?
I didn't even play
Why not?
because I think I was cooking, and then by the
You
time
were
we got
cooking,
done,
you were cooking. I was entertaining people.
you were the entertainment, and then later on, we played bags. I was like, no, I wanted to play Can Jam, so I didn't even get to play.
Oh man,
Great game. If you've never played it, that's one to go and
look up Can Jam.
get your buddy to buy it, and then that way you don't have to pay the money. Like me, Jamie, he owns it. So
I own it, so I just bring it every time.
he just brings it. It's like if you were to forget it, I'd probably tell you that the party was canceled and
Canceled.
and leave.
Yeah, it
It's
is
like
kind of
I don't need you here anymore. That's
the
the
highlight of
reason
the
why
party.
this. I mean, it's really why I invite you to parties.
It's like bags, but evolved.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
It's almost as fun as what's that game where you put a bottle on like a stick in the yard
I haven't played that one.
and you shoot stuff at it and try to knock it down? Or I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. I've never played it though.
There's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah. Great.
Sorry.
I thought this was a really good honey garlic sauce recipe. I would do it again. It kind of reminded me of. I don't remember if I talked about this one. There was a recipe I had for think it was pork tenderloin or pork loin, and you had a pan sauce. It was pretty much the same, other than this had the ginger in it. I thought it went really well. Tasted by itself, tasted really good on the wings. Tasted really good.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that one over and over.
Got it. What else you got?
All right, last one. Last one. Honey sriracha.
Honey sriracha.
Because we got to have something spicy.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we'll see what happens here. So that one called for a 1/4 cup of sriracha, 3 tablespoons of honey, 1 tablespoon of salted butter, 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, and a teaspoon of lemon juice. And much like the honey garlic sauce, put it in a pan, kind of bring it to a boil, simmer, reduce a little bit, and then it was done.
Now, with the lemon, did you use fresh or
yes?
Is that
I actually bought.
Okay.
I bought real lemon.
You have a juicer, or did you just kind of like manhandle it?
I just manhandle it. I wasn't looking for a lot, so I just found a bowl, squeezed it, made sure there was no seeds.
Then you realize you don't have grip power anymore because you're getting old.
No, the grip power was fine. But I actually do have a tool. I don't know what it is, made for juicing. It's just like you can stick in it and kind of
like a grinding
ish
tool.
I can't. There's no clean comparison that I could say it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mortar and pestle.
In ways like I guess your stick.
Your mortar.
But then it's almost like rifled.
Which one's the mortar? Which one's
the
mortar's probably like the bull, right?
Oh. Do you know what? That I don't know. Because they always come together. It's like,
right.
Get your mortar here. Hey, do you have a pestle I could borrow?
Pestle. Can I borrow your pestle?
Right.
I have the mortar, but
That's
somebody stole my pestle.
Someone stole my pestle.
Ask a neighbor and see what they bring you.
Right. They will bring you both.
They bring you both.
Because, if one breaks, you got to go buy another set.
Well, I can't separate my pestle from my mortar.
Yeah. So that sauce, it had a little kick to it. I thought it was pretty good. I kind of just, when the wings were ready for sauce, and I just guesstimated what people would want, and then I actually had some barbecue sauce. Oh, what was that stuff I bought? There's something new, Blue Hog.
Oh, Blue Hogs.
Blue Hogs. That was really good.
Which reminded me, there was just a sale on their charcoal.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get to that at a later point.
The charcoal?
Oh no, I don't have that charcoal.
You don't have the charcoal.
You have that charcoal.
I got some bags.
You have that. Okay, we're gonna have we're gonna do some charcoal testing.
I'll sell you a bag, 25, right out the door, dude.
I'm sure.
You can try it out.
I'll just go to the store. I think it's seen it cheaper.
But
it's
right
trying
here.
to make it.
But it's right here,
you don't
man.
have to stop at the store.
Save money. You know what I mean?
So that's really the sauces. I think. Other than Jamie, who just doesn't remember them at all.
They were all really good. I just couldn't tell them all apart. You know what I mean? Like, I tried them all.
Well, and a couple worked. I'll tell you what. And I was trying to keep them separate. I used the ranch, the King Ranch, for this.
Yeah.
And at one point, I had this honey sriracha wings next to the barbecue wings. I couldn't tell them apart.
And you were like, ugh.
So there's probably a couple barbecue wings. I erred on the side of caution, so 10-year-old kid didn't grab and get a spicy sriracha wing. We hear crying. It's like, oops.
Sorry, kid.
So, I thought they were all a hit. I tried them all. I enjoyed the sauce.
And it was interesting, like you did the the Weber baskets in the center like you would with a normal grill.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of temperatures were you seeing with that? I know you said you weren't hitting what you
I wasn't, well, and that's just it. I mean, it's probably because of my lack of use for that big monster.
Sure.
A lot of times, most of the time when I've used it, it's been for smoking things. So then
offset stuff.
Lower temperature. Where here I was trying to get that 400, give or take, and I think I think it was about 350.
350. So it did take, I think, twice the amount of time.
It took a little longer, yeah.
That would normally take on like a 22 or a 26.
And I did use it one. We had a little potluck at work, so I was like, well, everyone's bringing some. What do I do? And I did the, and I mentioned the poor man's burnt ends, the hot dogs, and I bought a bunch of them. So I used that. So I'm like, well, I remember when I put there again. Normally when I use it, I'm using a lot of meat on there. It's not like I'm doing one pork shoulder. So I think that's also eating up my heat. So I make sure to put enough coal in it. Well, then with everything closed down, I couldn't, I couldn't get below 300 or 350. So it's like, man, these hot dogs are just getting murdered. Luckily, it's just hot dogs. But I thought that, okay, one full chimney should be more than plenty. I used the baskets just to hold them because I knew I was going to have to go around them. Want more of that indirect heat, but it's centered. So, it wasn't like, hey, some wings are really close, some are way far in the back.
It's easier to get your distance that way.
Yeah. So I was a little disappointed. I wish we had gotten a little more heat.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I had to kind of contain those coals and keep them kind of in a uniform area. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I would have dumped them. You had some stragglers. Not the biggest deal. I ended up putting some more charcoal on top of the grate.
You used lump, right?
Yeah, I
Out
still
of
have,
recommendation.
That cowboy crap.
The amazing cowboy lump. Did I have a 35-pound bag of sitting behind me?
You don't remember this conversation. You see it. This massive bag. You don't remember. Oh, I got it at Costco. Yeah, but so did I, man. It was
I was so
cheap.
excited. I'm at Costco. Let me tell you this real quick story. I'm at Costco and I'm like, oh man, like I need some charcoal. Like I always need charcoal. I always look for deals, for sales, this, that, and the other. And I saw the Kingsford stuff there, but it was like the Kingsford Professional, 2 bags for, was it, $18 normally. I'm like, that's a pretty good deal. But I've had a string of bad luck with their stuff. It's been super smoky, like billowy, to the point where I light it up, in my chimney, and I'm looking around and it's just billowing smoke, and I'm like, at some point my neighbors are just gonna call the freaking fire department and say, hey, your house is on fire. But
and a lot of times when I see that, it's more of like that bag I've had open from last year. I'm almost thinking it's just like a moisture content in it, because other times you get it and it's clean.
It could be. I mean, I've seen guys on some of the Facebook groups that are kind of echoing the same thoughts that I've had. So I don't know if it's like a quality control thing, or maybe we are all keeping it in a moist location, or whatever the case may be.
They could have changed something that we don't know about.
Maybe. I'm like, I'm not going to do Kingsford. And I know that stuff is like the professional. It's like, I know I've used it before where it burns hotter, this, that, and the other. Then I saw right next to it was a giant bag of cowboy lump for like $19. I'm like, 35 pounds. I'm like,
right.
That's a lot of charcoal. Okay, I'm going to try this.
Well, here's the thing. You're going to get a piece that's the size of your forearm.
Right.
And 90% of the bag, and it's going to be like little, think of, what do you call it? The mulch. It's going to be like mulch-sized little chips.
Oh, yeah.
So you almost need to find some sort of mesh to hold it, because it's just going to fall through your grates.
Oh, man. I haven't opened a bag yet. So
remember we did the Fogo?
Fogo,
that was like everything. You can open a bag of Kingsford or anything else, and you have busted pieces. But
So I've seen on the line some of the other guys, guys and gals in groups are posting that they've had that same issue, and they've used, unfortunately, they've had to use a second charcoal grate,
and turn it
crisscrossed.
Yeah, that would work.
And that would work out fine, I think. But I mean, you have to buy another grate for $20 to $40.
Well, I mean, yeah, so, I use, as you've seen, we use my fire pit, and I've got the spent coals. There's coals that were still going. I threw them in there to kind of get going, some wood, and then I whipped out the cowboy, and I'm just dumping it in there. Like, why are you doing this? Like, I gotta get rid of this somehow. Well, no other use for this stuff.
Oh, man.
But we're gonna get more into that. And that's kind of funny because, and I forgot the name now. I bought something new too. I'm like, wow, actually, it's Blue Hog.
You did buy Blue Hog?
I don't know. No, that didn't have Blue Hog. I don't remember the name. Nope, I didn't have B&B. Whatever it is I bought. We'll talk about this. No, I've had the Fogo. This is something. I know I texted you a picture of it.
Store brand?
No, it was supposedly a good brand. Nice big size pieces, and I go to cook with it. And up there it is, Jealous Devil.
Jealous Devil. Okay.
Massive pieces.
Yeah.
And just no temp out of it.
I've seen people talk about that too, and that's becoming popular as well. But you're saying it's like,
well, I use it a little bit tonight.
It's expensive though, right?
I mean, yeah, it's more expensive than like Kingsford. I could have gotten a two pack of Kingsford for what I paid for this.
I'm at that point though with charcoal, like if I'm going to be grilling or smoking or whatever, and if I'm going to be cooking outside, I'm gonna use something a little bit more premium. I don't have to use the cheapest of the cheap Kingsford anymore.
Here's the big thing on it, and we're gonna do. We've
gonna
already
do a
talked
breakdown.
about.
We're
this.
gonna do a breakdown.
We're gonna do a breakdown. We have like a good 4 different types,
Yeah.
and we'll get a couple more because we'll use it.
I did use all my B&B, so I'll have to buy another bag.
That's fine. That's one I haven't tried yet. But when you're trying to do a cook, and you're under a time crunch or whatnot, don't use something new.
No.
You know, if you're cooking for a bunch of people, you're smoke something, and you pick something up because it was on sale, and you're not used to it.
You've used Kingsford for 20 years.
Use it.
By all means.
You kind of, you know, you should know your snake should be 2x2, and your whatever grill and this long. There you go. You get your set point. You start messing with the variable of that fuel, and you could be in a world of hurt. And we've seen it high more times.
Yeah.
When at least over here with B&B, I think it was, and for me this one it was a little low, but we'll do a better test on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think all the sauces turned out really well. I want to say it took me less than an hour to make all of them. I mean, it was quick, but 5-6 ingredients. I mean, the rub was the biggest thing. Everything else was quick.
Give me a wag on sauce cost. Ingredients.
Ingredients? Well, I mean, most of it in call, and I doubled
Less
them.
than 20?
Oh, for all of them?
Yeah. More than 20? I mean, I'm talking like...
Man, I bought a lot of stuff.
You did buy a lot of stuff.
But I mean, if I didn't buy some of like those the freeze dried dill weed and all that, I mean, I bought just an ancho chili powder. That was really it that I didn't have. Mayonnaise, sour cream, buttermilk, honey. I mean, that was really all soy sauce I had a big thing of. So
Sure.
I really didn't have to purchase all that much.
Nice.
So yeah, it was cheap.
So if you're going to go above and beyond,
Well,
even
the
if
blue
you,
cheese for that one.
even if you want to go clean for you, your family, I'd say definitely try it, because I do remember they all tasted really good. It's just a matter of which ones tasted better than the others. So I apologize. I don't know which one tasted better than the others, because I was busy entertaining guests,
Right.
playing yard games, imbibing.
Right. I mean, hey, it was a good time. The main things, we had fun. Because it's tough. I couldn't tell you exactly each one either. There's so much different stuff. But anyone that's fearful of trying some of these sauces, just Google it. I mean, they're fast. I mean, they're easy.
Yeah.
And you can say, hey, I made it.
That's an episode.
That's an episode. Like that. You're like, we're doing chicken wings? It's like, man, no, we're doing sauces for chicken wings.
And yeah, sauces for chicken wings. All right. Yeah, so we talked about it all. It was all delicious. Again, check out our website, ShadeTreeChefs.com.
ShadeTreeChefs.com.
Email us anytime, ShadeTreeChefs@gmail.com.
Visit us on social medias.
On the social medias. We don't need to name it anymore. You know what we've got.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram. We've got
there's the
YouTubes,
TikTok, but which we've been very bad at. We will get better with videos.
You want it. You ask for it. Yeah, we'll give it to you.
We've been really bad, but it's been busy, so bear with us.
All right.
That being said,
I'm Jamie,
and I am Matt,
and with that,
we are Shade Tree Chefs.